Hi, and welcome back to Craft Along with Jay. And if you're new, welcome. My name is Yara, and I am so thrilled you can join me today. Can you believe it? It's March 1st. Where has the time gone? But that also means it's time for the first of the month collaboration, hosted by Brenda with Rustic and Lace DIY and Gwen at Home with Gigi. The theme is Hop into Easter this month. The links to their channels will be down in my description box, along with the playlist for everybody who's participating. So make sure to check everybody out and show them all some love. So let's dive right in for project number one. We're going to use these wooden eggs from Hobby Lobby, and I got 6 of them, and I'm going to give them all a coat of Waverly's chalk paint in the color ivory. And then I'm going to put those to the side and let them dry. And then once that's done, I'm going to take this tulip napkin that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to open it up, and then the back ply, you usually have to take it off, but it came off on its own right here, so that made my work easier. And it only had the back ply. And then I'm going to go in, spritz a little water on my mat, take a fine tip toothbrush, and then I'm just going to go around the tulips, not right on the edge, but close, because you don't want the tulip to get wet, because you need to kind of fussy rip. Can you even say that? You're going to rip around it very carefully, and you don't want to rip into your tulip. So yeah, just very gently. And if I get too close to the tulip, and I'm afraid I'm going to rip it, I just put my finger down as I'm ripping. So if you put your finger to the edge of the tulip, then you will pull the napkin around it. So that way you're not getting into the tulip. And it was kind of a little tricky because, the tulips are so close, the leaves are close, the stems are close. So I just very carefully work my way around them. And I'm using most of the napkin right here. So I would get a couple of them out, work on my eggs, and then get a couple more out because I wasn't sure how many I needed total, but I just kind of worked in sections. So here it's very gently get it out. There we got the first one. And then I just keep working. I do the whole tulip, but on some of them, I, I was kind of short on space on my eggs, so I just used the top part of my tulip, but you can kind of attach it so it looks to another stem so it looks like it's together. So you just kind of work around with it, how you want your eggs to look, and how you can put it together on there. So it's, whatever makes your heart happy. So yeah, I think I started with 5 of them before I start working on my egg. And then you can even, if you still have a little bit of excess napkin that you don't want, you can still lay it down and work on it off of the napkin like you just saw me do. And here I'm going to go in with some Mod Podge. And I'm going to work like very slowly on this. So I'm going to take my tulip, find out where I want it, and then I'm going to pull it back on the top part and then start applying the Mod Podge. So that way I know exactly where my tulip is going to go. And all I got to do is just add and then put it down and gently tap it into place. And I don't do the whole tulip at one time. I still work my way in sections because that way I have control over it and I can get it to look the way I like it. So yeah, I'm just very gently putting it down and then I'm just going to tap, tap, tap to lay it down. And then I fold it back over and then I start working, in sections all the way down. And that's how I'm going to do it with all the tulips. I think I'm just showing you one, just so you kind of see how I'm doing it, and it's the same procedure for all of them. Just gently tap it down. And you can still like lift it a little bit if you get a little wrinkle or something. I'm not too worried about the wrinkles, but if I felt like the wrinkles were too much, then I would just pull it back a little bit and then lay it back down. And that worked. So here I'm just gently tapping it down again. that's it for this first one. I think I put 4 or 5 tulips on each egg, and you just kind of place them all the way around. Now, you don't want all of them to be at the top. This is how I started this egg. So this was my starting point, and then I can start adding the other ones, lay it in the way I want it, because I want it all the way around my egg. So here, this one is a little bit more towards the side, and I had a little bit of Mod Podge at the bottom, so that kind of got me started. And then I'll add this one up. Okay, I just show you another one. At least I sped it up, right? But it's the same way you do all of them. This one did go a little bit high up, but a little bit towards the side. And here, I'm just going to use the top part of the tulip. So I went in and took the bottom part off, and it's still touching the stem of the other one here at the bottom, so it looks like it's all connected. And then I just work my way all the way around. Whatever I think looks nice, whatever make my eyes happy, really. And that's important, right? It's going to be in my home. I love how they turned out, and I can't wait to display it for Easter. So I should probably get going with soon. It's March now, but that's what it looks like so far. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I love these eggs. So here I've done all 6 of them, and they're all dry. Then I'm going to go in with some gloss Mod Podge and seal it all in. And I chose gloss because I want it to look a bit more like porcelain, if that makes sense. And I'm just going to do one side at a time, let it dry, and then do the other side. Because, these eggs will roll around and you get Mod Podge everywhere. So I just kind of worked on sides. It took a little bit of time, but that's okay. Yeah, I had a little bit of, I think it was a little bit of dog hair right there that I had to get off before I sealed it in. So here they all are. I think they're absolutely gorgeous. Let me know what you think about these eggs. All right, let's jump right into project number 2. We're going to play around with some tumbling tile blocks. I had the design in my head, and then once I get the tile blocks out and I start working them with my hands, I'm still trying to figure out if I could get it to look like that or if I'm going in another direction. Do you ever do that? Like you have it in your head, but then once you start playing with it, it may change, so you play around with it to see if you can change it. I do that sometimes, most of the times. And because I was short on time, I use hot glue. I prefer wood glue when I work with tumbling tile blocks because I don't like to have any gaps in between. But I just made sure I just used a little bit. And I was trying to flatten it out as I squeezed it on there. And then I pushed them down really tight. So it was seeping out in between those. So I didn't really have a gap. But just because I was pressed for time, I did it this way. I definitely prefer wood glue. And it takes a bit longer because it takes a little bit longer to dry. So, but it's okay. It turned out okay. I'm good. I'm glad that I got it done for sure. All right, so I made 2 of them, 2 together and 3 up. So I made 2 sets of those. And here I'm making just some lines here with 4 Jenga blocks side by side. And I think I made 4. And here I'm just playing around like, is it going to look the way I want it to look? So so I'm putting 3 of these 4s, 1x4s together here. And then I'm going to glue the sides on. And I do it on top of them, if that makes sense, the top of the bottom right here. And then I'm going to lay it down. And then I got this one, making sure it fits all the way across. And then I'm going to give it some glue on each side. And then I'm messing how many more I need to make. So I need to make 5 more. 5 more 4x1s. So I'm not going to glue these together because this is going to be a little crate and I don't want it to be perfect squeezed together. So here I'm okay with a little bit of gaps here and there in between. So that's why I'm going to put them in individually. And I'm just doing the edges of um, the Jenga blocks right here and then putting it down. But then I still decided that it was a little too narrow from the crate I needed. So I'm going in with some wood blocks. I'm making two more 2x1s, and then a row of four. So we're going to add that to the bottom right there. And this is the bottom, so I do want them kind of close together. And then I'm going to do it on the sides as well, like so. And I know it's missing a wall on the back, but we'll take care of that here in a second. So I'm going to go in with some apple pales burnt umber. Just squeeze that into a little plate, and I'm going to add some water because I want it to go on as a stain, not necessarily as a thick paint. So I'm going to mix that up really good, and then I'm going to paint all the way around my crate. The top, the bottom, the sides, inside, outside, everywhere. Just give it just one nice coat. It doesn't have to be perfect. You know, it's a crate. It's okay if some of the wood is showing through, or you know how crate looks. But I wanted the darker one because that's what I like. But you can do, if you wanted to do a color or a lighter stain, you can absolutely do that. Whatever makes you happy. So here, while that's drying, I got this big wood bunny. Not sure where I got it from. It was in my stash. And I'm going to give it 2 coats of Waverly's chalk paint and plaster. And then I got this gorgeous piece of fabric. I have no idea where I got it from. I found it in my stash, and I just knew I wanted to use it on my Easter bunny. So I'm going to go in with some Mod Podge again, and I'm going to spread that out. And once again, I'm working in sections. So I'm starting with his ears and then his forehead. And then I'll lay it down before I move on to the next section. And once I put it down and I start smoothing it out with my hands, I can feel the Mod Podge coming through. So I did not go in and give it a top coat of Mod Podge. I felt like the Mod Podge seeping through kind of gave me that top coat. So save the Mod Podge. It's not going anywhere, the fabric. It's untight, and I felt like with it coming through, it already had a top coat. So yeah, I just gave it a good coat underneath, and it went straight through. So that's good. So here you can see I'm working in sections, and now we're going to work on his head, and that's how I do it all the way down to the bottom of my Easter bunny. And you can see I got a good healthy coat of Mod Podge back here. And make sure you get all the way out to the edges because you don't want any lifting. So yeah, I'm just pressing it down, and as I'm pressing it down in the front, I'm working out the wrinkles as well, so I don't have to worry about ironing before I put it on. And once I got all that done, I just cut as close as I could to the edge. I don't have any tiny scissors. I really need to invest in some. But then I went around with my sanding block for the little bit that's hanging over, and I'm just going to sand that off. So now we're going to put it all together. I'm going to go around with some hot glue around the edges of my crate right here. And this is where it comes in. We're going to put the bunny in the back, like so. And just hold it until the hot glue sets. It doesn't take more than a few seconds. And I do the same thing at the bottom right here. And now my bunny can stand up on its own because it's got a crate to help him. Then I got some of this packaging thing. It came in a box that we got, and I saved it because I thought I could probably use it at some point. So, and I was right. I'm going to use it as a filler in my little crate. So I put quite a bit in there, almost to the top, but not quite, because I don't want this to be seen like that. I just use it as a filler. So I'm going to go in with some reindeer moss and add that to the top. I'm kind of pulling them, or stretching it out, pulling it apart, so I have a bit more control over, not just dumping it in there, so that way I can kind of spread it out and lay it the way I want it to look. But you really just want to cover up the top right here. And then somehow I didn't get in that I made this bow, but it's just an awareness bow that I used with this Dollar Tree ribbon that I had in my stash. And here I got one of these paper flowers from Hobby Lobby that I thought would look perfect in the middle of my bow. And it's a very light purple. It looks almost like ivory colored here, but it's a very light purple, and I thought it went so well with the bow. Then I also thought the crate needed something. It was looking a little bit too plain. So I had these wood bunnies from the Dollar Tree that I'm going to add. I'm adding three to the front. I did not want to paint them. I just wanted to kind of flow with the crate. I had enough color going on the bunny. And then you can put anything in the crate that you want to put in there. But you'll see I decided to put my little tulip eggs in there. So that gave the tulip eggs gave me the idea to make this little bunny with the crate to hold them for me. And I can't wait to put this up. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I love colors in the springtime. It just makes you so happy, doesn't it? Flowers, birds, all of that good stuff. So let me know what you think about this one. I love how this turned out. So to the last project of the day, project number 3, I got these little bamboo wood rings. They are from the Dollar Tree. However, I've never seen them in any of my Dollar Trees. I actually picked them up at Goodwill, believe it or not. I found 5 packs and I picked all of them up because I've never seen them at my Dollar Tree. So I'm good for a hot minute now. And then I got these carrots that I have no idea if they're from Dollar Tree or Hobby Lobby. I'm not quite sure. I've had them in my stash for a couple of years now. But I do want to take the tops of the carrots off because I don't like what they have going on right now. So on the orange ones, they came out really easy. I really had to work at it with the larger ones. But I started with the smaller ones, and we'll get back to the bigger ones because I really had to kind of think about how to get them off because I was determined to get them off. And I did. Then I'm going in with some boxwood to put in the top of my carrots instead. I think it gives it an elevated look. I love how that looks. It doesn't look, I don't even want to call it cheap because I don't think they look cheap, but it just elevated it really, the boxwood from where they came from. So I'm just playing around with the size and how I want it in there, make sure it fits. And then I'm going to add some hot glue and then I'll put that in. I always check before I add the hot glue just to make sure because I don't want to add the hot glue, add them in. I don't like it. I'm going to pull it out. It just becomes so messy. So I always check to make sure that I like it before I put the hot glue in. May seem like it's a little bit of extra work, but at least I know that I'm going to like it once I commit to it. So here I got the little orange ones done. Now I'm cutting the top off of these. I'm going to go in with my needle nose pliers and I'm going to pull the rest off from the inside. And some of them are okay to do. The second to last, I really had to work at. And then the last one was super easy. So go figure, right? So here I use boxwood greenery as well, but I'm going to put 2 of them in there so that it looks a little bit fuller than the orange ones because they are a bit bigger. So I put 2 pieces in there to make sure everything fits. Some of them I had to cut down a little bit so they didn't stick up too far. And this one came out so easy. So I'm just picking around my boxwood to find the pieces that I wanted to use. Make sure it looks the way I want and then add some hot glue. Then I'm going to use all 4 of the bigger ones and I'm only using 2 of the orange ones. So when I do the one bundle, I will do the same thing to the other one. So I'm gluing the 2 bigger ones together and then I'm doing the orange one on top in between them. And then I'll take some jute twine right here. This is kind of ivory colored. A little bit of hot glue on the front, just a little dab. And then put the string around, cross it, and come back to the front. And then double knot it. So it looks like a little bundle of carrots tied together. And I do end up giving it a dab of glue in the back as well because it looked like the jute twine wanted to kind of slide off on the back. So I just gave it a little dot in each carrot just to help hold it in place. Then once I've done that, I got my bamboo ring bag and I got this little bunny butt. It's from the Dollar Tree last year, the year before. I can't really remember. But I'm going to lay it down on my bamboo ring here to make sure I like how I want it down before I commit to gluing anything down. But first we're going to get this skewer stick off the back of the bunny. And then I'm making sure that once I get him down, he's as far down as I can get him without anything showing. Because there's a little bit of that bamboo sticking out right there. And I couldn't get it further in because it's glued in. So I did as close as I could. And once I press it down on the bamboo ring, you can't tell. So yeah, I'm just pressing it down with some hot glue. And then I'm going to add my carrots to the side. And I'm trying to figure out, do I glue in the carrots or on the ring? So I had to turn it around to see where it would lay. And then I decided the best thing to do was to add the glue to the bamboo ring. And then put the carrots down. Because that way I knew it was going to adhere somewhere in my carrots. And it did. It's not going anywhere. So this, for me, this worked best to do it this way and not just to put some random glue in the back of my carrots and hope it would hit the bamboo ring somewhere. So this worked for me. So this is what this looks like so far. Then I'm going to go in with this wood round from the Dollar Tree and I'm going to give it a coat of Waverly's chalk paint and plaster. And once that's dry, we're going to go back in with some Mod Podge and cover this whole thing up. And then we're going to let that dry completely as well before we move on to the next step. And then here we're going to use this Daisy napkin that I found at Hobby Lobby. And it was a multi-pack, like multicolor pack. So it had the green, and I think it was blue, purple, and pink. But I chose the green one because I thought it went so well for my little carrot bundles. So you're going to take that back ply off. And I just use some masking tape to help me separate them. And then I'm going to lay it down, use some parchment paper, and then I'm going to go ahead and use my little mini iron and just iron that on there. It'll activate the Mod Podge, and it will have my napkin sticking in no time. And really, you don't really get any wrinkles doing it this way. So this, sometimes I don't mind wrinkles, and other times I do. So, that's going to depend on how I decoupage something. So in here, I'm just going in with my sanding block, going around, getting the excess napkin off. Then I'm going to give it a coat of Mod Podge on top to seal it in. And here I got a little bit of bubbling going on or some wrinkles. So once that dry, I went back in with my parchment paper and just ironed that down. And then when that's all dry, I'm going to lay down my little um, bamboo ring with the bunny button carrots. And I'm just adding some hot glue to the back of it in sections. And then I'm going to lay it down. Oh, and I made a little shoelace bow to put on top of my bamboo ring, as you see right there. And that's the green gingham ribbon from the Dollar Tree. And here it is. I think it's so cute. I love this one. So much fun. Let me know what you think about this one as well. So let's take a final look at everything that I made today. And I really hope you enjoyed this. This was so much fun. And I can't wait to display these DIYs in my home. So I got to get on the ball and start decorating, right? So let me know what you think about today's video. And don't forget to go down and check out the playlist once this video is done. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe, like, comment, and hype my video. I would really appreciate it. Until next time.